Okay. Thank you all for being patient and for rejoining. Okay.
We have to hear about Eris. Are you kidding?
Are you kidding me? Well, since I don't have the picture, I'm gonna do it anyway. I don't know. It's on my computer. Hang in there. Shh. Hi, Melody. There you go.
Hello.
Oh, yay.
Tell us about it, Erica. You're muted, dear. I got such a mess here. Let's hear you now. Let's try now. You're still muted.
Okay, now I'm unmuted.
There, tell us
So-
about the picture.
So Susan was in Cloverdale and I'm in Fairfax. And we met halfway in Santa Rosa at this bakery called the Criminal Bakery because their pastries are and foods are so good that it's criminal. And so we hung out there for like 3 hours sharing
this is like
our life histories.
the length of it, the halfway part of California. Give us a scale here.
Okay, so it's Northern California. It's north of San Francisco. And she's on her way to Southern San Francisco, trying to get away from the rain. So she's passing through where I live, which is just a little bit north of San Francisco. And she'll be passing through again in the spring. But this year we were able to meet. Last year we tried, but she was in Santa Cruz, which was like too many hours drive for me. And I work, so I couldn't get away. But Melody is in Santa Cruz.
Well, I'm sorry you didn't have your T-shirts. Oh, I knew we don't have them out yet.
Yeah, I know, but we'll get some when
They'll
they're
be out
finally made.
soon. They'll be out soon. Okay, well, thank you, Erica. Let me
Sure.
try to get the show back on. Is everything operating okay now?
Yes.
Okay, let me try to get. Of course, I lost everybody. I lost all 43 people on my list. I don't know what's been going on with the web here. Let's try to get. Somebody's talking. Let's try to get solar fire. Here we go. Let's try to get solar fire working again. Oh, they're all here. All the charts. Hey. Okay, good. Okay, we're going to go Abraham Lincoln. He's next. Now you'll see how these people with strong Erises had very powerful social implications.
Wow, look at his chart.
It's an amazing chart.
Yeah.
Let me get this back on my monitor. It's an incredible chart. Him and Lincoln, him in Washington, especially nobody in the world like Franklin. Franklin's just unbelievable. Okay, we're going to see him too. Okay, so we see the wonderful Aquarian of Abe. And remember, this is 150 years before Eris was discovered. But he's got Eris in Aquarius. It hasn't even gone into Pisces yet. So it's several hundred years. But we have the Eris Chiron conjunction. This is why, if you read the life story of this man was obsessed with one thing, and that was his job was to keep the union together, period. And that's what he did. He was sick. He had migraines. He lost 2 or 3 children. He had people trying to kill him, people trying to take over his job. Unbelievable. But you saw the absolute dedication. There's an actual birth time here, 6:57. So the sun is rising. But this Eris had a lot to do with him being driven towards humanity, the 12th house, the promise to humanity with 3 planets in Pisces. Just remarkable. Let's just keep on going. We have so many to cover. Here's George Washington. There you go. Okay, look at Eris setting. Sun is starting to go to noon and it will set. Eris set before it. Eris is in Scorpio way back then. Okay. With Mars. So if you've read about GW, he was really dedicated to what he had to do. And he only took the office because people asked him to. He didn't really want it. No ego. Great military mind. But the power, that's what Eris does. This guy I've been talking to says that Eris, and I don't know, is a combination of Mars and Pluto. It's really worth thinking about. I'm so glad we're back on the air. But you see how powerful the Eris is because it's on the angle. Okay, next chart. The 2 Roosevelts. Here's FDR. Is there any couple that's been more public? Is there any couple that has affected society more? I mean, not many. Here's FDR. Look at his Eris. 6th house, Pisces, opposite Uranus, his ruling planet. He's an Aquarian. She's a Libra. But imagine the power of Uranus opposite this. And this is what I keep finding with politicians. Taurus, 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 Taurus. You got to have the Taurus or you're not going to withstand all the BS of Washington, D.C. Talk about a thick skin. And he's dying of polio while he's in there, while raging wars going on. The selflessness of Aquarius, just a tremendous chart. The Mars helps. The Mars helps a lot. But the Uranus Eris is the story. You got 2 planets going across the ascendant. It's a big deal. Four fixed planets in Taurus in the 8th house. Besides the sun being next to Venus, which means he just loves people. It's a bucket pattern to Uranus. In Virgo, look at all the things. Look at all the things he did with the New Age, with the New Deal, and Social Security, and helping people to survive. Let's look at his wife. Okay, here's Eleanor, the Libra. She's got, look at Eris. Look, within 9 minutes, Libras don't usually stir up the public. They're usually very much involved and very much at the table talking about things. But this woman was a radical. She was a radical changer. Look at this. Bucket pattern, whole thing to Eris. So what do you think if we put their 2 charts together? There's no doubt that Eris would stick out like crazy. Very intriguing chart. Here's Thomas Jefferson. Look at Eris at the top of his chart. Eris next to the moon in Sag. Well, you all know about Jefferson. He just did all kind of things, writing the Constitution. He was a jack of all trades. He was in on everything, developing the Articles of Confederation. He just did everything. And look at that chart with Eris next to the moon in Sag. That's why I wanted to do everything. When you got a lot of Sag energy, they want to try everything. Makes nice, strong seventh house. Uranus rising. 2 people in a row. What better than to have these kind of people starting the country? Okay, take a look now. This guy's unbelievable. If you've read his life story, Benjamin Franklin. This guy was the representative of the United States to France to get the money to pull off the revolution. It was in his hands. The Capricorn. Where's Eris? Bucket pattern. See the bucket pattern?
Mm-hmm.
Opposite Neptune. This guy did all kind of self-teaching to make himself better. He would have a list on the wall in his house of, I got to get better at this. I got to become less greedy. I got to become quicker. I got to become more honest. He had cheat sheets. He had a job to-do list in his house. Every day he would go through and be honest about what he had accomplished each day. Talk about taking himself seriously as a citizen. Just an unbelievable character. The fact that he never became president is awe-striking. Here he's got a T-square to Eris from the sun Jupiter. He was the perfect ambassador. Weren't for him, we wouldn't have a country.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that simple. Wait to see this guy. His name's Albert Einstein. Look at his Eris.
Odd.
Look at it. In Pisces at the top. What he keep telling everybody, that your intuition is more important than your intellect. Quit thinking. Just allow it to come to you. Absolute genius. Bucket pattern to Uranus and Virgo. That's really good on how we're going to get it done. How do we put the building blocks together? Then he's got Uranus opposite Jupiter with a T-square to Pluto in Taurus. That sounds like somebody splitting the atom. Pluto and Taurus. Got those Aries planets. And it's really important, I've found. It's really important for Pisces people to have Aries planets. It really is, because as I wrote that book, that was one of the main themes I've kept writing in there, that the Pisces people are very selfless, but they need more self. They can't be all selfless. And you see 3 planets in Aries. Really, really helped. In my experience, I've seen some wonderful people, including Deneen, who's been on our show, who have Pisces and Aries. They have a combination, because without the Aries or the selfish fire, the Pisces gets lost in selflessness or drugs or alcohol. They just get lost. Ha, Linda. It's the truth. It's the truth. And they need it because it's a very hard sign to be, very confusing sign. Let's keep on trucking. We got a lot to go through here. All right. Harriet Tubman. Wow. There she is. Let's get it on your screen. So glad Melody's with us. Okay. Sun, we do not have we have an actual birthday that she was actually born at noon. Okay, intriguing. She was born at noon. The sun and moon, probably an eclipse. T-squared to Pluto. Look at Eris. Hundreds of people she saved with the Underground Railroad. Put them on her back. Who's got the strength to do that more than a Taurus? Put it on my back and just one step after the other. I think we should put her on a $20 bill. Yes. Incredible woman. Gandhi. His chart didn't show me a lot. It's kind of a bucket pattern. I mean, his chart's phenomenal, but it didn't show me a lot as far as Eris is concerned. He does have the Eris trine to Venus, Mars. No, he's known for phenomenal charisma. Phenomenal. He's got Mars, Venus, opposite Jupiter, Pluto, T-squared to the moon in Leo. He wasn't going to lose. He was going to walk quietly and carry a big stick. That's the Venus and Mars in Scorpio. And he's a Libra. And that's why he was in all the committees and had a lot to do with bringing vegetarianism into the popular mind in India. The Mercury in Scorpio. What can I tell you? He outsmarted the whole British Empire. This sure didn't hurt. Now, when Lincoln was losing the war in the middle part, he kept picking really bad generals until he got U.S. Grant. He got tired of messing around with McClellan. He put Grant in charge, and Grant did the winning by, I forget what the word is, U.S. Grant. He just pushed him into the river, took over in Vicksburg, Mississippi, surrounded him, put a siege on the city, choked him. I can wait longer than you. I got Sun Saturn on the ascendant in Taurus. I can outwait you. So what he did, Petersburg, same thing. He just outweighted him and took advantage of blowing up their railroads, etc. And he was, I'm sure, to the opposition, he was very cruel, but he just stood his ground. He dug in. That's how he won at Vicksburg. He dug in. His army dug in and wouldn't leave. And his Eris is in Aquarius. Very intriguing. Let's keep on down this list. Dane Rudger is probably one of the most famous astrologers ever. Wrote a lot of books. Very revolutionary man. An Aries, moon in Aquarius. Look at his Eris. 20, ascendant 17. Eris, ascendant. Eris, square to Jupiter. So again, we see it coming from the fourth house. You're just not going to do powerful things unless you got powerful planets. Whether you're Michael Phelps or whether you're climbing Everest, when you have to reach down and find this, I don't even know what you call it, this phenomenal cosmic energy, it's coming from the outer planets, Pluto, Neptune, Eris. Otherwise, hell with it, you give up. I don't need this, you give up. I wish I could get to all your charts tonight. We'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. Intriguing. Let me skip through these. Mark Edmund Jones, one of the greatest astrologers ever lived. He was responsible for the Sabian symbols, him and his friend. Look at the bucket pattern. Bucket pattern, Eris. Just keep on going through. Patty Hearst. Well, here's this normal woman that ends up being really on the news for something infamous, right? Robbing a bank at gunpoint in the 70s. Patty Hearst, a Pisces, of all things, Sun opposite Pluto Pisces, T squared to Neptune. That's why she was in La La Land. Okay? Where's Eris? Opposite the moon in the 8th house. Very intriguing. McCartney, and I think McCartney and Dylan are probably the two most influential songwriters we ever had in the rock field anyway. And remember, these are all about people making a social impact too. McCartney's incredible. Look at his chart, right across the ascendant. Neptune, Eris. Gemini, 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 Gemini. So I could write a song in 5 minutes. They just kept pouring out of him. You may prefer Lennon or George or whatever. It's all right. Look at old Leah. But this Eris is extremely powerful. Impact upon the masses. And it can, even though it's Geminian, which is a very non-Neptunian sign, he had a lot of Neptune because it's right on his ascendant and it's right opposite his Eris, with a big T square to what? The Sun and Jupiter. Just power, power. Joni Mitchell. Well, she must surely have a strong one. Okay. Here's Eris at the top. Bucket pattern, there's the moon. You know she's a moon character, moon opposite Neptune. She's always singing about how her deep feelings are and deep moods, very intense Scorpio, down deep in relationships, with the moon high in the sky next to Eris. Bucket pattern. Big impact on the public. Eva Cassidy, who I've been studying so much recently. Look at Eris. Right on the descendant. She got the T square to the moon. She got the Mars and Leo really strong opposite her sun. She got T squared to Neptune. That's why she said, I dress the way I dress. Don't make me dress up. I wear blue jeans and a shirt, and that's it. I'm not putting any makeup on. That's why she never got famous. She wouldn't play the game. Phenomenal singer. Look at that Eris and Aries. It's really powerful in her 5th harmonic too. Now here's a lady that kind of competes with her. Her name's Aretha Franklin. Another Aries. Look. Sun next to Eris. 4 minutes away. Not degrees, 4 minutes from exact. Opposite Neptune. So when you mix that selfishness of Aries with the selflessness of Neptune, you got the best of both worlds because you don't have any obstacles. I've told you all along, Aries just will not deal with obstacles. They just put it out there. Gas pedal. And Neptune's out there. They're reaching for the stars, unbounded, unlimited. So you wonder why the greats achieve greatness. I don't wonder why. I don't wonder why. I see it. Let's keep going. All right. I put Clark Gable in here just because he had such an impact with the movie scenario. Let's get Clark Gable up here. I believe he was a Capricorn. I was Aquarian. Oh, that's right. Cary Grant was the Capricorn. Okay, look at this. Eris all by itself. Great big T-square to it. You know what I've also heard, and I think this is really interesting. This is really fascinating. I'm hesitant to say this, but it's certainly something we should think about for a good while. That Eris is the it planet. People with the it factor, they got it. Now, it may be more than that. You got to be careful. Take your time before you put the label on it. It factor. Every person I've just shown you has had the it factor. I think. Even my viewers, they get tossed off and they come right back on. Jesus, someone's out to get me. I don't know. Get your shopping done. We ain't got much time left. I broke down. I gave Liza one of hers tonight. I just couldn't. I couldn't wait. I had to give her one. You like that, Claudia? She liked it too as a dress. Well, really, I really went out and went there, me choosing a dress. Every time I pick women's clothes, I'm like real sorry I did. She liked it.
I love it. That's great.
We'll have her model it for you some night as a Buddhist dress.
Oh, beautiful.
I told you the show's about love. That's what it's about. And we're not going to hide anymore. Okay, let's go down to who's next. Lots of interesting people. Wow, did I find some? You wait till you see this one. Okay, here's Joe Frazier, the famous boxer. Sometimes I have to put it on the screen twice. That's why I have a monitor. Here's Joe Frazier, the powerful boxer. Look at the bucket pattern. Huh? Look at the bucket, and I cannot underestimate or overestimate how powerful Eris or any planet is when it squares the ascendant. This came out a couple of years ago in a small booklet, which was the final booklet, ebook, a free ebook by Stephen Arroyo. He put it on the web about 9 years ago. This little free booklet. And I found a lot of repetition in it, but he really was telling us how strong a planet is when it makes an angle to the ascendant. And man, is he right. And you know, the guy's going to punch you silly with all the Capricorn, and et cetera, Mars, Uranus, they're really fast fist, but I'm sure the Eris had a lot to do with it. We just have to keep digging and exposing it. Okay, wait to see. Talk about the beauty. This woman, Sally Field, she even played a flying nun. Talk about the beauty of Moon opposite Neptune. She's really got that purity in her smile. You can see it. She played a flying nun of all things, okay, in the 60s. Where's Eris? Right next to the moon. Same minute. Precisely conjunct. 5:45, 5:45. Opposite Neptune. This is not happenstance. When you do the 12th harmonic, and when you do your studying, the woman has had a tremendous spiritual background, period. Saturn, Pluto in Leo gave her a lot of power. She didn't use it for arrogance. Look at his Venus, Mars, that's it. Venus, Mars, Mercury, Sun next to Jupiter. A phenomenal chart. Now, here's the kook. Do you remember the kook who wanted to get people to chase the comet, to put on Nike shoes and die? They wanted them to all die together. Marshall Applewhite. Look at this guy's chart. Marshall Applewhite. He was so far out, cult leader, wanted them to all put on Nike shoes, and they were going to follow behind this comet because the world was going to blow up, and they were going to be first in line for the new world. Talk about kookitis. Okay, You got a double Taurus here, but look at the Aries. Look at the Aries. Right there. You got the T-square from Saturn, Pluto, over to Uranus. So he had Aries type energy that was just out of control. Some leaders have so much leadership ability that people follow them because they just seem so strong. And you just seem so weak and you're arguing with your little mind. And these guys just seem so strong. I've done articles on famous Tauruses that ended up despots. I don't know where he's going, but he sure as hell seems like he knows where he's going. So let's follow it. Right, Marcia? No way. Now we're going to switch gears on you. How about Ted Bundy? Okay. Look at the bucket pattern. Look at the bucket pattern. I mean, a really weird character, just really sick, killed lots of people. But this is somebody, usually these people are people that are butchered inwardly as far as spiritualism. They just have so much guilt about God and what God's going to do to them. That's usually what you find when you study deeply. But you got the Sagittarian and the big bullshitter with the 4 planets in Scorpio, but you got that outrageous Eris in the 8th house, opposite Neptune. And when you're not holy, Neptune becomes the great deceiver. Hell of a chart. How about Jeffrey Dahmer? Look at that Eris. Right with Mars, between Mars and the moon, rising. Yes, of course, he's a Gemini. Saturn's fixed right at the bottom of the chart. How about David Koresh? Remember that? And they had to blow up his camp in Texas. They put the tanks in and the walls blew up and the whole thing went up on fire. Remember that? It was in the 80s. Look at his Eris. He's the Leo leader. He ain't gonna back down. He's got the Venus and Mars and Virgo. He's got the T-square to charming Jupiter and Scorpio. But look at that Eris again. People are not going to follow somebody that's weak. But they'll follow somebody that seems like they're strong, like the Aries Jim Jones, like the Taurus Adolf Hitler. They'll follow you if you seem so convinced yourself, then I must be wrong and you must be right. Getting near the end now. All right, we're coming down the end. Lee Harvey Oswald. Don't have to tell you about him and the social impact that he had. He was a Libra. He was a real wannabe, really a lost soul. Look at that Eris. 401, the midheaven is 8. Look at that Eris once again. He was very much like that. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do it. That's what he was like. I sure don't know what I'm doing. I don't even know why I'm going after this guy, but I'm going to. He was such a nobody that he had to go after the somebody. That's my read on the case. Peter Sutcliffe. Who's ever heard of Peter Sutcliffe? The biggest serial killer in the history of England. Killed 13 women. Really bad. Eris opposite Neptune. Sun sign Gemini, of course. Eris opposite Neptune. You can see the great tilt in the axis is because he's born in some city in northern England, which tilts the axis much more. But the Gemini and the Mercury Uranus, I'm sure he was very brilliant in his own way, but he's the name. He's the Ted Bundy of England. How about Harvey Weinstein? Just heard about him recently. You think he had a big impact socially? Look what he was doing. Abuse of children, abuse of people. Those are Aries planets. In case you don't know this, Aries people love babies. They don't really care for them that much when they get older. Like a toddler, they just love babies. They really do. And that's not saying anything here about pedophile. I'm just telling you this one fact. Because Aries is the first sign. They're naturally drawn to the innocence. But you get around Aries and babies and watch them, and they just light up. All right, let's get through this list here. Chiang Kai-shek. Scorpio, bucket pattern Eris. Eris is opposite Mars. Let me tell you something. If you're going to flirt around with somebody, don't mess around with somebody with Mars and Virgo or Mercury and Virgo, because they got a plan, huh, Linda? They got the plans made. They got the lists made. They know what they're going to need. They got the credit cards all fixed in the phones. Don't mess with somebody with lots of Virgo in them. I study a lot of serial killers. The ones with the Virgo are the heartless ones who've got it all planned out right. And you may take a long time to find them. Like the guy who jumped out of the airplane. They think he was a Virgo. The guy that jumped out of the airplane in Washington State. I forget what his name was, the bag of money. Started with a D. I can't remember. Anyhow, he was one of them. We don't want that. We don't want that. We don't want that. Okay, let's see. Chiang Kai-shek. Heinrich Himmler. Heinrich Himmler, one of Hitler's right-hand men. Unbelievable chart. All of his henchmen were unbelievable. Look at all the Sag here. Look at the T-square to Eris. And the moon in Aries. Look at this huge 7-planet T-square to moon Eris. And what that does, because there's so many sides there, that brings about, like with Trump, that brings about the perverted dark side of Eris, which means the ends justifies the means. They're so corrupt that we can do anything we want to because we got to purify and get down to the purification, get rid of these vermin. That's exactly how they thought. That's the dark side of Eris that we're fighting to this moment. Okay, hang in there, everybody, with me. We're getting near the end. Hitler's chart wasn't that interesting. Mussolini was pretty fabulous, I thought. Okay, look at this. Look at Mussolini, who was a super Leo. Look at all this stuff. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets in Gemini, which is T-squared to all this. You think he ain't the leader? You think you're going to talk him down? He's a Leo, and he's got a bucket pattern to Eris and Aries, opposite Uranus. It's just one after another, the good and the bad. Okay, let's get through this list. Machiavelli. Wait to see this chart. Machiavelli. Uranus, opposite Eris, making a grand cross with the ascendant. Neptune's right on it, opposite Saturn. So this is a megalomania. He thought he was God. And if you've ever read anything by him, his his answer to everything was just butcher everybody. You got a problem? Just butcher them and you'll be all right. He was really something. Okay, I'm ending up with a guy named, the chart that we think might be the chart of Jesus Christ. This is an interesting chart. Now, of course, nobody knows for sure, but look at this chart. Born in February, which means Pisces, which I agree with. Look at all the planets in Pisces. And Eris is sitting right on the descendant. And what's sitting? What else could be sitting on his midheaven but Neptune? So, there's your Eris lesson. Turn your microphones on if you got any questions. You want to see somebody. Pretty fascinating. And I think there is reason to keep studying this sense of Eris being Mars and Pluto. I think there's valid reason to keep looking it up. We've seen many people that could handle it. We've seen people that couldn't handle it. So remember what Eris is, and that's why it's in the air now. No more. We're not taking it anymore. That's it. We're having it out. We're not going to talk about it. Even Pluto talks about it, not Eris. She's not going to talk about it. Okay, your questions, or who wants to see their own chart? Come on, don't be shy. Kathy, let's take a look at Kathy. Okay, Kathy, look at yours. You got a bucket pattern to it. Look, your bucket is opposite Neptune. So being a Virgo and having this in the 6th house and opposite Neptune, it is 7 degrees and 11. So it's a 4-degree orb. This is a very, very strong sense of service to people. Now, when you get the Eris involved, Virgo people are very patient. They do it by the rules. They don't make a scene. Eris people don't care. I don't care if I make a scene or not. That's what they're saying. So what this says, you do have Mars, very classy, very tactful, Mars in Libra rising, a real good place for Mars to be in this sense. But this is somebody who sometimes wants to wait it out and be sane about it. And other times, we're just going to do what we got to do. We got to get this done. Now, how do you speak to that?
Well, I've noticed that I have been more outspoken when something has really bothered me, and have shared how it's impacted me, not what the other person did to me, but this is how your actions impacted me. So I've been doing that more often.
But you're not letting it rest like a good Virgo. See, good Virgo, they got double zippers on their lips.
Right, yeah. Sometimes, and recently it's just I just can't seem to keep my mouth shut.
Exactly right. And that's because of Eris being in the collective. Very good.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at somebody.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Thank you.
Promoter. Let's go look at Sandy. Here she is. Look at Sandy. Sun next to Eris. 24 minutes away. 24 minutes away in the 9th house. This means Sandy really looks to me like a person who looks really mild. I've talked to her this in the past. But this is somebody who's not mild. She's got Uranus and the moon rising in Leo, and this is not somebody with a mild philosophy. This is a person who says it like it is. She says it like it is. Within all along the midheaven. True or false?
True.
What are you feeling since 05? You feeling more like this?
I am much more, I've always been pretty outspoken. I try to be a little more
Tactful.
Tactful. Yeah.
That's a beautiful Jupiter Neptune. I told you this the other day. That's a very kind, super beautiful Jupiter Neptune. And that keeps that from being too obnoxious and this from being too obnoxious. This really calms things down because the Saturn in Sag ain't calming you down. It's this. This is a beautiful fourth house, very sensitive to other people's feelings. That's a very nice thing to have. Okay, well, thank you. Let's move on.
Thank you.
We'll try to get everybody. Okay, Miss Melody. We see the Cancer sun rising, so that gives you a lot of Leo traits, just because the solar traits, just because the sun is just risen. Uranus opposite Eris. Grand Cross. Uranus, Eris, Sun, descendant. Very strong Eris. She's not one of the meeker type of Cancers.
Yep.
She's got an Eris Aries, Eris Chiron Aries, opposite Uranus, T-square to the Sun. And the Sun is, don't tell me I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. That's what it is. Hey, me?
Yeah.
See, that's kind of hard. You know why I'm not writing another book? Because I don't have the patience to put it into real common words. I want to write things like, me, what? Now, if I could write a book like that, I'd have a couple more done. But I had to watch every little word with that book. And I can't do that. That was your friend's fault, Leanne. That was Liza's fault, really. She's not listening. Okay. Let's stop this one here. So you have a very powerful melody. You have a very, unmute yourself. You're not surprised your Eris is real powerful?
No, we've been studying astrology for a while.
Yeah.
And you've been pounding Eris into the ground for a decade now. So I've looked it up and I've looked at it. I know because it's 13 Aries to 13 Cancer that it's really personal for me.
So where are you now with the post 2005 Eris? Do it one way or do it the other? Where's your head at?
The post 2005 Eris is the one that speaks up and doesn't.
The one that
Yeah,
has had enough.
right. Yeah.
Well, how do I say this? Eris doesn't want things done because this is the way we've always done it. That's the
Right.
exact opposite of Eris.
Right. Yes. And so I'm doing that more around me, but also with myself. Like there's also portions where I'm like what you just said. I'll have to re-listen to the recording, but what? I've done something wrong? No, but Eris has turned inward for a while because as above, so below, what's in me is also reflected outside. So if there's a problem and I want it to be right, I better look at myself. And what's resonating from what you said was, if I continue to say I haven't done anything wrong, that's where I have to start.
And
That's
what's
where I have
nice
to
about
start because
you,
that's the greater problem. I
what's
see in
nice
the
about
world.
you is a Cancer's not going to sit there and blame themselves, but you will because your Uranus is very strong and it's very equal and it's very idealistic, and you play it very level-headed. And that's really good because Cancer is another one of the signs that, it's got a lot of strengths, but it needs help from other signs too. Yeah, I think I agree with you. Let's move on to Leanne, and then we'll call it a night. Okay, Leanne is the artist from Pittsburgh with a very strong Neptune right on the angle. Look at Eris over here, all by itself. What's she doing all by itself? Buried in the 12th house. What's she doing over there? An Eris in the 12th house is very difficult to talk about. That's more or less somebody, this is difficult, more or less somebody who feels like, I've often known this. Astrology people don't ever piss off a Leo woman. Okay? Astrology people, ain't in the book. Don't ever piss off a Leo woman because you will get the fire. You will get it. Now, Leon's always been very sweet to me, very nice. But what's boiling with you as far as we're at the end of the road period? We're at the end of the road. How's it coming out of you? Because 12,000 planets, you want to suppress them sometimes.
I don't know that I have anything right now. Nothing's crossing me right now.
Nothing's crossing you right now. Okay, good. Well, I don't want to cross, Leo. All right, very good. So I think you've seen enough tonight. That's some intriguing people to look at. I'm finding 2 or 3 more astrologers starting to look at it, hopefully. Yeah, if Linda Sprague, you are welcome. Now remember, because this was cut off of the earlier part of the show, I'll be out of here till January 5th. And I'll be back on the air with show 300 with our guest, Ksenia Moore. And we're going to kick some butt out of Melbourne, Australia. And then the following week will be Michael Weir, who's doing his covert bridge building. Huh? So if you want to hear about covert bridge building, you want to join us then. So I'm not going to see you. I got to go. I'm losing my voice. Love you all. Merry Christmas to everybody.
Merry Christmas. Thank you, Rick.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Hope,
Happy
you,
holidays.
hope Santa brings you what you want.
Oh, absolutely.
And
That new-
happy birthday to you.
yeah,
Yes.
thank you. And Santa's going to bring you good astro software.
Yes.
Everybody
Bye-bye.
be
Merry Christmas,
careful.
everybody.
Have a good holiday.
You too. Take care.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.